Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to a XL Tinfoil Tuesday. I took some days off, I wasn't feeling great yesterday. So I decided today we're going to be doing an extra long stream to make up for it. So how's it going? Normally we go about 3 hours, today it'll go between 4 and 5 hours. See how it goes, what the vibe is. We are going to do bingo. Since it is XL, I think it's appropriate that we have 2 bingo winners today. So if you'd like to play, go ahead and get your bingo cards with the bingo command, and the first 2 people to get confirmed bingo wins will get gift subs from myself or to use for someone else if they would like. If you're on YouTube, I know I always tell you this, I appreciate everyone, I know most of you normally do anyway, but if you could like the stream, would be appreciated, thank you very much. And I got a gift from my wish list, from Run Trip Fall. So Run Trip Fall says, "Happy early birthday, Hannah." For those who don't know, my birthday is on the 12th. I'm turning 30. Insert Bo Burnham song here. Gotta buy this now while I think of it. Oh, the fun of ADHD. That's a lot of Blu-rays. Have some more, and thanks for all the laughs from Run Trip Fall. Well, thank you very, very much, Run Trip Fall, for a 4K of the American Godzilla with Leo Papadopoulos, with Leo Spadopoulos, Matthew Broderick. It's the American early 2000s one. So thank you very much. That's great. Add it to my Godzilla collection down here. I'll have to actually arrange it later, but I'll stick it there. There. It is with its lizard brethren. 98, sorry, not early 2000s. Godzilla 2000 is that one. That one actually came out, I think, still in originally by Toho in like 99? I don't know. Anyway, yes, the one with the Simpsons cast in it. The one that the mayor is supposed to be, and his aide are Siskel and Ebert. Thank you again, Run Trip Paul, for that. Appreciate it. History Chick, thanks for 35 months with Prime. Much appreciated. And that's it. Cool beans. We're caught up. How about some short stuff to start? We'll start off with a few tinfoil hors d'oeuvres, and then we'll get into the longer stuff, and we have a decent bit of it.
So crazy that if you combine the flat earth theory with the prison planet theory, it would put it to shame. What if Pangea never...
One sec, I gotta go back, because it wasn't loud enough at first. Cloud Wizard, the 300-bit, says, "I have a student who has a phobia anxiety of classmates. I'm trying some things, yada yada yada. Today she talked to a classmate. That's great. Good."
Theory so crazy that if you combine the flat earth theory with the prison planet theory,
for those who don't know, there are some conspiracy theorists that believe Earth is like a prison planet, so kind of like Plato's allegory of the cave, but like the cave is Earth? The whole Earth is the cave. It's more Matrix type stuff. I forgot eyeshadow. No wonder my eyes look so weird.
it would put it to shame.
I was like, I swear I'm forgetting something, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm like, why do my eyes look like that? I forgot eyeshadow. Give me 1 second. This is important to me, damn it. There. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Sorry about that. I'm back.
What if Pangea never broke apart?
It did, though. It did. It did. We live on what used to be it, sort of. It's like a... continents of Theseus situation, I guess, if you want to be like that. But no, we're not on Pangea.
What if it was just covered in water and it never fell apart? In my previous video, I explained how when the waters rose, it pushed the oxygen up into outer space where the oxygen froze. The denser air then traveled and was pushed down. Liquid oxygen is slightly denser than water, but this is frozen oxygen, and the colder it gets, the denser it gets. Because of the density and the 30% of the oxygen that was taken from our atmosphere, this sky ice would have pushed the sea levels down so much that it would have raised the water level to where these things are now covered in water, and they're telling us it's just drifted apart. But I guarantee you that
I feel like just drifted apart is a bit of an understatement for what plate tectonics is. But sure.
is not the truth.
I do like his glasses.
This
If
is
I gotta say something nice.
all part of the great illusion.
Pangea got divorced from itself. Pangea had a geological divorce.
The great spell that we have been put under. Everything is right here in front of our face. I guarantee that is why they're worried about the CO2 emissions, because
They're worried about it because of greenhouse gases affecting the climate.
CO2 gets transferred into the water. The water then becomes more acidic. Of course I looked it up.
The cult glasses it's giving, or those glasses it's giving cult leader chic. I was just gonna say, do you think he has a conspiracy where he's like, things are a lot redder than they used to be, man? What's going on? It's them. They are doing this. Why is everything so red?
The effect observed was that lower pH increases melting time. As the level of carbon dioxide goes up, these are all examples.
If this gets conspiracy theories to be concerned about greenhouse gases, I'm all for it. I don't even know what to do at this point. There are so many people who are just like living in fantasy worlds on a daily basis. Fuck it. Sure, feed them a fantasy that gets them to care about reality, if only by mistake.
From different places, the acidity of the water falls. What if the only reason...
Okay, new plan. To get people on the right to start caring about climate change, we start seeding conspiracy videos that says Satan and demons feed on greenhouse gases, and the only way to starve Satan and his minions of the naughty, angry, evil demon gases that are making them really powerful and mad at God and babies or whatever, we need to start working towards green energy. It might work. It might work. It might work.
They're worried about carbon monoxide is because it's going to melt that ice and...
He said monoxide, dioxide.
Give us back the oxygen that is being stored underneath the ice as sky ice that we don't know about, and that is actually making the water levels rise up so much that it's covered up Pangea, and we're literally living on Pangea. Of course, this is why on the modern maps, they've exacerbated and exaggerated the true size of each continent.
Exacerbated is not the word to use there. That does not mean the exact same thing as exaggerated. One is to make worse. Slightly different meaning. Fenekagami says, so genius, what's your explanation for why the continents fit together like a puzzle? Like the unsubmerged parts just happen to end up like a puzzle piece? Yes, I assume that would be his explanation.
So that we think that it's complete and America is the same size as Africa. What? Are you kidding me?
It's not a conspiracy. Those maps exist for specific purposes. Anytime you're doing a flat map, which maps are flat by definition, unless you're talking about a literal globe, there are going to be things that get stretched or sizes that are wrong, because inherently it's a model. It's a projection. It's not in 3D, so it's not accurate to the real thing, but it's a tool that's used for specific purposes. It's not nefarious just because you don't understand it. Big Dick Energy with 16 months says, Hannah, you're my favorite Twitch streamer. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm my favorite Twitch streamer too.
Look at it. Look at it. And this is why they fabricated the size of all the continents on the map that they show you, so that you stay confused. And
It's not confusion. It's not what any of this is for.
they put out there, oh, well, if Antarctica melts, then we're all going to be flooded. No, we are not going to be flooded. The only reason that
It would certainly flood coastal regions and displace innumerable people and animals and destroy habitats and help usher in the collapse of modern civilization. But, like, no one's claiming, like, there's not enough water on Earth to cover every single bit of ground on Earth, like in Noah's Ark story. Like, that's just not how much water there is on Earth.
the water level
But that's not the claim either, so...
has risen to where it is because there is solid oxygen that is pushing the waters down, and if the ice in
Hold on, I have glasses, too. I can... Look at that. Rose-colored and everything. Perfect.
the Arctic melts, that is going to release that 30% of hydrogen that is now a solid back into our atmosphere, and the water level is actually going to drop, and you will see Pangea reform. But hey, I'm just a dude who meditates. We know in the comments.
But hey, I'm just a dude who meditates. Are you aided in that meditation by the use of any substances, perchance? Because I'm getting a vibe. I think I can smell him through the screen.
So who's a good VP pick, in your opinion?
I would say John F. Kennedy Jr., but most people think he's
You mean
dead.
RFK Jr. or wait, no, John F.
Dead celebrity is secretly alive on the bingo card.
JFK Jr.
JFK Jr., yes.
So he didn't die in the plane crash.
No. Do you know what was happening at the exact time his plane crashed?
Tell me everything.
He was running for the Senate seat against Hillary. Imagine that.
Clinton's on the bingo card.
His plane crashed while he was running for office against Hillary.
JFK Jr.'s plane crashed July 16th, 1999. Hillary filed statement of candidacy October 1999. What the fuck is wrong with people?
She's got a big body count.
Yeah, it's, you know, that I didn't know.
I was at Mount Rushmore when Trump was there July 3rd, 2020, but they were all there at the event we were at.
Italian Shakespeare says, I just watched the episode of Deep Space Nine where a disease called the quickening. Fact it end with a vaccine was found, not a cure, was great, but I wonder what a MAGA anti-vaccine person would think about the episode. They think it's propaganda. I've seen plenty of episodes or movies where, you know, there's a disease and they find a vaccine instead of a cure. They just think it's propaganda. That's it.
They said, along with Gene Ho, who is now the editor of George, and Donald Trump Jr., and John F. Kennedy Jr. were in the helicopter, and they let him off on top of Mount Rushmore. I have a picture of it.
She has a picture of it, guys. It's definitely very real. It's a picture of them on top of Mount Rushmore? Okay.
Conspiracies for JFK Jr. are cracked.
Who is Mike Lindell? Who is? Is John still alive? We're
Oh yeah, this guy thinks that Mike Lindell is JFK Jr., which is really mean to JFK Jr., to be honest.
going to find out the truth.
So you think that Mike Lindell is John F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yes, I do. We're going to find out.
You have a picture to prove it there?
Cool.
So this is a picture of Mike Lindell and John F. Kennedy Jr. And so what's the evidence here?
Well, the evidence is we're going to find out that people had to play certain roles to get the truth out to people.
That's not what evidence means. Let me try and decipher what he just said real quick. The evidence is you're going to find out people had to play roles of different people. That's not evidence. That's a claim of what you think is going to happen. Did he do that intentionally? Does he know he's doing that? Does he have a bad sense of... I assume conspiratorial people tend to be intuitive thinkers, and by that I mean they don't look outside of themselves for answers, they look internally. So they kind of vibe things out. And it feels like when he was asked for evidence, he just described, again, a vibe. Just a thing he believes. That's interesting.
So why would John F. Kennedy Jr.
Vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
fake his own death and then assume the identity of a pillow salesman?
Well, you have to ask yourself, what was he running for? He was running for a seat in New York. Who won that seat? Was it Hillary Clinton?
So
He's showing you the
John F.
Goes in to explain the thing. Bumble Homestead says, my little dog normally gets a treat after she lets me trim all of her claws. She tried to get her treat after 1 foot. Even the pets are price gouging. They're gonna unionize. Watch out.
I want to go back to your original thing, which was the quantum
financial system,
so
QFS.
What does that mean?
It means, so it's going to be a new platform where everything is going to be super transparent, and which is going to eliminate the corruption. And the guys were telling, we tried so many other ways to, you know, somehow to find a way how to eliminate this corruption, and they tried so many other ways, and they said no, it has to be the complete transparency.
Well, you could actually
word salad? Wow, we're gonna just knock this bingo card out in the first, like, hour of the stream. Word salad for sure.
compare it a little bit with the internet coming into our reality, right?
Hello,
When the internet came into our
How's it
reality,
going?
it gave us a
Good evening
different
to you as well.
dimension, a new dimension of energy exchange, information exchange, information storage. It gives a chance to actually experience the world on a completely new level. Perhaps it feels to me from what you're describing, this is the new level, this is a new dimension, almost like what the internet did for us.
Dimensions
it's
beyond our
own. This new
own.
energy back.
Like a, what, AI?
Exactly. The currency will change, and I felt like the existing fiat currencies now.
Nah, I don't want to make it harder, Demi Bird. I just want it to be fun. We're having 2 winners, so...
Yeah.
If you missed, we are doing an extra long Tinfoil Tuesday today, so normally we go about 3 hours. This will go between 4 and 5, depending on how I'm feeling. And we're doing 2 bingo winners, so...
Somehow something
Yeah, I don't want to make it, like, way harder. That's less fun for people.
will happen that
Plus, I don't know the mathematical curve on, like, how much more difficult that'll make it for people to get bingo broadly. Like, it might make it impossible. Like, it could exponentially increase it to the point where no one wins bingo even though 2 people can win, and that's not fun. So.
yeah, it's gonna be
I feel the
gone.
same. I don't know what that means, obviously, at home, but it feels like the fiat currency in the way it is doesn't work for majority of people.
The value of money is going, like everything about the money is
The
going to
concept of
change. Everything is going to change. And, you know, when we have so many programs about money and our ancestors being, you know.
Yeah, I saw the Dead Domain. I didn't, like, watch it, but I added it to my list because it looked really interesting.
Beaten if they are rich, you know, they've been, and we have so many programs that we have inherited from our ancestors that being rich is not safe.
Yeah.
With big money comes big.
Benigami says, I watched the Joe Rogan episode with Dr. Phil and had to explain to my wife that rich people, especially really conservative rich people, hate poor people because they basically believe there are 2 kinds of people, sheep and shepherds. The reason that rich people think we don't deserve money is they believe that we're the wrong type of person to be trusted with that money. It's also why they pick and choose expert advice. They think they're superior. I would have to watch Joe Rogan, and I refuse.
Big problems.
Yeah.
Money is bad. Money is the source of evil. So all this all these artificial programs being injected in our DNA, and we have misconception of money that is now going to change.
Wow.
Yeah, because money is the energy.
Money
That is going
is the energy
to set the balance. So the new earth is all about changing. The first thing that's going to change is attitude with money and abundance, with this quantum financial system.
Quantum financial system.
Attorney General in New York City is saying now that he has to come up with the penalty money, and if he doesn't come up with that penalty money, she's going to start seizing properties. How do you feel about that, and do you what do you think he should do about it?
Not pay it. I mean, nobody thinks he owes it. Not one American thinks he owes it.
What? If he did you just hear what he said? If he doesn't pay it, they're going to seize his properties. So either way, he loses.
Even the
And no, other people don't all agree with you. Surprise.
Democrats don't think Trump
Democrats. She did it. She said the thing.
owes 1 red cent. How much does lying, cheating, stealing, molesting, embezzling China Joe, illegitimate imposter President Biden owe to Tara Reid? How much money does he owe to Tara Reid for actually sexually molesting her?
Fucking what?
No. no. You can actually sexually molest somebody and get off because you're lying, cheating, stealing, molesting. You have Biden as a last name. Just like the Clintons got away with suiciding, I lost track. Is it 17? 17 people that had dirt on them? Is it 34? I can't keep track.
People legitimately get wrapped up in conspiratorial, like, mythologies and get so stressed out about them that it ruins their life. Like, do you see how anxious she is? She has perceived enemies everywhere, and, like, it's fair to recognize, like, you know, people in power get away with things. The problem is, in this case, the things she thinks that Joe Biden is getting away with didn't happen, to our knowledge. Like, come on! Literally supporting Donald Trump, guy who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Very strange. Oh, this is a MAGA person who thinks that Ashley Babbitt was some sort of actress. Of course, for those who don't know, Ashley Babbitt was a MAGA January 6th person, the one who was shot as she tried to pursue members of Congress through a hallway and breaking through a window, etc.
Why are the people still standing in the hallway? Shots have been fired. Why are those people not, oh crap, they're shooting at us now, get the hell out?
Because they're in shock. They didn't know what had happened at first. They were a bunch of people LARPing. Again, we watched that day, and I've seen the footage of the Ashley Babbitt thing multiple times at this point. They were surprised. One of them was literally calling for a medic. These were not people, most of them, who had a firm grasp on reality. They were a group that was self-selected to be, like, QAnon believers, far-right-wing ideologues, like, people who make irrational decisions. Like, I don't understand what you expect them to do.
None of that makes any sense, unless all of those people in that area know what's going to happen, expect it to happen, and are playing their part. And that's, I think, exactly what happened. And I challenge anyone to show me any video evidence that that allows for an alternative.
Notice what she's doing here. She's setting it up as though she is accepting of evidence against what she believes. She's like, show me the evidence, show me the video. But it's not in good faith, or at least she has a misapprehension of what she's doing if she's aware she's doing this at all. She has not provided evidence of anything. This happens a lot in conspiracy theories. This is kind of the definition of vibes-based conspiracy. They perceive a situation. They feel something is wrong, and then their brain searches for a justification for that feeling. And to them, that feeling is evidence. To them, that vibe is evidence. So they don't think they need to explain further. So what she is asking you, or anyone else hypothetically, to do is to show her a video that gets rid of that vibe, which you can't do. Not precision, like, at least, because vibes aren't something you get convinced into. They're just a thing you feel. It's out there. It's out there. And the problem is, too, that people's vibes and their feelings, a lot of the times are based on self-preservation. Like, we are all victims to motivated reasoning and motivated thinking. So if you're a MAGA person or a conspiratorial person in general and you see the Ashley Babbitt thing, your brain is more likely going to try and find why that isn't true, that she was shot for her own actions, because that's devastating to your worldview. It becomes easier to come up with conspiratorial narratives. This is broadly how conspiracies happen in the first place, is people are uncomfortable with something, they don't like the narrative that exists in reality, or as close to it as we can understand. What they do is they fill it with a perceived narrative that makes them okay being who they are.
Conclusion. Because there is none. That is clearly the conclusion. That is an operation. That is a false flag shooting. Let's talk a little bit further about Miss Ashley Babbitt, the alleged victim of this shooting. She is, I am told, by news, by the media, I am told.
The media becomes one monolith.
That she is
the world becomes simplified. Sorry.
Proud Trump supporter. And she has been a longtime Trump supporter, and she's a veteran, a 14-year veteran. She was, by the way, in 2014, deployed to Asia Just want to let you know. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the veteran thing in a minute because I think that actually doesn't add to her credibility. It may actually add to the credibility of the fact that she is a trained operative.
The fact that she was in the United States military and deployed somewhere in Asia, which is a whole ass continent, by the way, to her is enough for her to say, I can insert here in a narrative, hypothetically, that she was recruited at some point by China, I assume is her thought, being a manga person, to become some sort of disinformation operative. That's all it takes. If you could, as a writer in a story, even lazily, put in something, that's what they do. They're all really bad screenwriters, basically writing their own movies about how cool they are and how their political enemies are all evil Satanists.
So, we'll talk about that as we go
Hello,
forward.
Polly has his cracker. How's it going?
So she's a big Trump supporter, apparently. All right. So I start poking around. I start asking my patriots, does anybody know Ashley Babbitt?
Does anyone know her? You specifically need to, like, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon this? I've talked about this before. Another good illustration of this is a lot of the time the people who fall into conspiracy theories aren't people who tend to trust experts. There's people whose modality of, like, finding a worldview is very interpersonal. So, like, you or I, if we wanted to know something, like, let's say you had a question about Victorian architecture. Maybe you'd go online and you'd search for a source that's someone who studies, you know, such a thing, either a historian of architecture or an architect person who's just interested in it and it's cited or whatever. You know, you would do your best to find someone who's clearly a specialist in that topic, whereas there are other people who have a tendency to trust people not based on their credentials or experience, but based on their interpersonal relationships. So, sure, maybe there is, I don't know, a scientific consensus on climate change, but your cousin on Facebook keeps posting these articles that say it's a hoax, and you trust your cousin, and you know your cousin. You don't know those arbitrary hypothetical scientists and lab coats out there who live in their hoity-toity, you know, liberal coastal elite cities. It's like identitarian shit. It's like they feel strongly that their identity is of an in-group, and that people outside of it they don't personally know or identify with directly as, like, in their in-group, they don't trust them, regardless of credentials. Overthought says right-wingers respect the institution of the military. Also, real troops are operatives.
Does anyone know Ashley Babbitt? I know a lot of Trump supporters, you guys. I know a lot.
Trump got tens of millions of votes in the last election. Do you think you know every Trump voter? What an odd belief.
A lot of Trump supporters. And the Trump supporters I know a lot more Trump supporters. So when I start reaching out to my network of Trump supporters and say, hey, do you know so-and-so? Most of the times when you're vetting someone, that's what we're doing. I'm basically vetting Ashley Babbitt posthumously. We're vetting her. So I'm just doing the same process I would do to vet anyone else. Do you know her? Have you met her? Have you rallied with her? Have you been with her? Have you worked with her? Do you know anything about this woman? None of my friends know her.
Literally, you can go and find public history of this woman. It is publicly available. Her military records that are public. Her Facebook and other social media profiles which are public. You can go and see all of these things. But no, she doesn't care about evidence. She cares about anecdotes. To her, an anecdote from someone she personally knows and has talked to, even if only through the internet, is the ultimate form of evidence. Incredible. Terradona with 100 bits says that's 79 million person haystack she's looking through. And DM Trey says there's another layer to this as well, even if they legitimately want to research something, yeah?
None of my friends have ever met this woman. And the only people I have actually seen who are alleged Trump supporters who vouch for her, who say this, oh, I know her, she's been my longtime friend. None of my friends know them either.
Okay, you don't know everyone. You don't know everyone who knows everyone. What is this thought process? Bubble Homestead with 100 bits kicks off a hype train. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Orion Cooper says, remember, the world is very tiny to conspiracy theorists. Everything has to revolve around them. You're not wrong. That's very true. We see this literally with flat earthers who have a difficulty understanding the scale of the world, and they generally seem to think that the Earth is like maybe 1% of the size it actually is, because they're constantly trying to figure out, like, why can't you see a curve with the naked eye on the ground? I've also seen them not believe that the Earth has as many people on it as there are. Like, I don't know, what is it, 8 billion now? I don't know the exact number. But I've seen conspiracies where they're like, no, it has to be under 1 billion. There's like millions of people on the planet at most. I think some people just have anxieties about scale, or the inability or abstract, like, reasoning that comes into play when you're talking about numbers that aren't intuitive to you. Like, I don't know if that's a difficulty, so they fill explanations so they don't have to contend with it. I don't know. Overthought, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 1 of the hype train. That's incredibly generous of you. Thank you very much. Oh, this is unfortunate. I'm a little afraid this is gonna get YouTube angry, but it is a parody? A flat earther did a Willy Wonka parody thing. Let's play it at 1.25 speed. We'll see how that goes. Concept of being insignificant is scary to them. It is for everyone, I think, to be fair. Fair. That's true. That's true. Scott SRB, thanks for following.
And listen. All right. What's it going to be? A galactic farce for Christopher? An exoplanet for Otis? And not a nebula for June Marie? And listen, NASA's got a new...
for 34 months at tier 2.
One today.
What is it?
This is called a scamdiddlyumptious bar.
A scamdiddlyumptious bar? How does he do it?
My dear boy, do you ask how they fly in a vacuum?
No.
Or why they Photoshop Earth?
No.
No, sirree, you don't. They do it because they have to, and know what's best for you. NASA was born to be a scam man, but you look like you're born to be a scammed man.
Who can take the sunrise? Say it's you who truly move.
Cover up their screw-ups with a murder, maybe 2.
Or 3 or 4.
The NASA man.
Humiliated Grapes, thanks for gifting a sub.
The NASA man can.
Flat Earth on the bingo card, of course.
And the NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good.
Oh, Soma, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Hell yeah, thank you. Getting us over level 2.
Who can take the
Kingdom Reborn, thanks for 32
night
months.
sky.
Lots of subs today, holy hell.
Drape it in a lie. Polish up some mirrors and say that they see back in time.
The NASA man?
The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. The NASA man creates pictures that are fake. The ones of Saturn seem suspicious. He puts the stars...
Oh, heck. Kingdom Reborn, thanks for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Woo! It's a sub day, apparently. Skifazoa, thanks for 100 bits. Thank you again so much, Kingdom Reborn.
As far as he wishes, and makes new words for unreal distance.
A light year!
They don't think light years are real. 5% to level 6 on the hype train. Humiliated Grapes, thanks
Who
for
can
gifting
take tomorrow and come up with a scheme? Flying planes much faster than we thought with the jet stream. The NASA man.
The NASA man can!
The NASA man can. The NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. And who can make a chemtrail?
God damn it, chemtrails on the bingo card!
Crisscross way up high. And call it global warming when it heats
This is not Jeranism, this is the conspiracy music guru.
up in July.
The NASA man?
The NASA man. The NASA man can. The NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. Who can talk to Nixon?
Hello, Neil and Buzz.
250,000 miles in the sky.
I'm talking to you by telephone.
2-second delay, but from the ISS it's 5.
Humiliated Grapes, thank you for 500 bits. I counted that wrong.
The NASA man.
What is the ISS position right now?
The NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good.
11 seconds.
The NASA man creates geos.
One was a video. You were comparing a phone call to Nixon with a HD video call for a TV show? Do you think those things are equivalent? I know it's just a song I'm making fun of, but like, that annoys me as a claim. That's completely ridiculous that you would even try and compare those two things and act as though they're the same. That's frustrating.
Centric coordinates, stationary taste delicious. The spinning ball is pure fictitious. Astronauts are having green screen glitches.
That's not green screen. That's not what a green screen glitch looks like. That's like an error with them transmitting the data. The iframes. It's a problem with the iframes. Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card. Procagam says, okay, but NASA man is stuck in my head now, so good job. You're welcome.
Who can take a rainbow, make it perverted, not divine?
Fuck it, gay agenda on the bingo card? I'll count that.
But who can be inclusive and hire that new guy, Caroline? The NASA man? The NASA man. The NASA man can.
Transphobia on the bingo card.
The NASA man can, cause he lies, he cheats, he scams, but for our own good. So we should believe we are spinning, cause the NASA man says we should.
How's NASA responsible for trans rights? They think it's all part of one big thing. That's something you need to understand, is conspiracy theorists generally will believe if they are this deep into a conspiracy. Of course, there are people who believe one or two conspiracy theories, but when we are talking about a conspiracy theorist with a capital C, right? Someone who believes that the entire world is part of an all-encompassing evil plan, everything becomes the fault of a singular group, and everyone you don't like politically, individually, because of their identity, or race, or religion, or whatever, all becomes part of the same evil group. So you start cross-pollinating your grievances. So even though it doesn't make direct sense, necessarily, to be like, I'm gonna put LGBT-phobic stuff in this anti-NASA video, it makes sense to them, because NASA is a part of the same evil them that propagates, you know, ideologies like being cool with gay people existing, you know? Pummel Homestead says, I'm surprised you didn't squeeze anti-Semitism in there. Did I miss it? You didn't miss it. Haven't heard a dog whistle about that yet. 15 seconds on the hype. Hell of a hype train today. Thank you, everyone, for all those subs. Yeah, that was quite bad. That was painful. Thank you so much for that hype train, everyone. Let's see what we have. Hans's video for today was pretty out there. Ooh, let's do this one. So, we've talked about this woman before. She is the one who has been doing the MedBed scam, allegedly, for a quite long period of time. And she's being investigated by a few different, I think, state DAs or something, because, well, I am not sure that she has ever, directly scammed people. Certainly, other people have, using her name on her channels, so she's getting in trouble for that. I don't know if she directly took money from people. Anyway, she deleted all the videos from her channel a while back because of this pressure she was getting and being called a scammer and stuff like that. But now she posted a new video called, like, Evidence of MedBeds. So let's see her evidence, shall we?
To be off, and I deleted all my stuff for a reason, but this is getting ridiculous. It really is just hideous. So many of you missed the memo, so many of you are following scammers, and then, oh, Sky, I've done nothing for 3.5 years except scream to people from the rooftops that there is no money involved, or change hands for MedBeds. There's no emails. This is military technology. This is going to be run by the military. Do you think they
believes sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card?
Going to use a Gmail or a Proton Mail account? Seriously?
She has fostered an audience of people but believe her that this random internet lady has secret military intelligence about alien technology, but she's surprised that they're this gullible? You self-selected a community like this. Ugh.
When I first started talking about MedBeds, I have always said, and I will continue to say it, I share my memories from the secret space program. Memories that I have retrieved. And I get a few little bits and pieces of information from the Alliance.
Just a few bits and pieces from the Alliance, you know, from time to time. We all have connections in the Alliance, lady. It's not impressive.
Which I share. Memories. So everybody asking for proof, guys, send me receipts. Receipts of what? Send me videos, send me photos. Do you have any idea what the term classified military technology?
Then why would you be posting about it on the internet? What do you, now all of a sudden, like, oh, it's classified. It was classified when you posted about it. None of this is true, of course. This is all bullshit, and she's, like, just, like, either genuinely believes all this stuff and is delusional, or she's a scammer. Either or. Like... If it's classified now, it was classified when you started posting about it. You gotta have consistency. You can't have it both ways. You can't post about it on the internet and then be mad when people want more evidence.
Actually means. It means that anyone who shares proof or even has proof in their possession of such technology tends to disappear. Never to be seen from again, if you get my drift, along with the evidence.
Then why are you posting on the internet?
So Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, they just...
The War Thunder forums have been repeatedly told to stop posting military secrets and it hasn't stopped them. That's happened twice. Something, Dr. Doofenshmirtz meme here.
Shared things online without even the physical proof, and look what happened to them. Sorry, my life is not worth your belief.
Why are you making this video? You made a video to be like, no, I'm not giving you evidence. You could have just not made the video.
In it or not. Even if I had proof, I wouldn't give it to you. I wouldn't give it to anyone. Because I'm not stupid. What some of you, and I'm not talking to my followers here, I'm talking to the people that just come onto my channel demanding proof.
Dare you demand proof of this out there incredibly unlikely, unbelievable thing I'm claiming? Just believe me!
What you must understand is that...
Must I?
MedBeds are off-world technology. Which means it didn't come from Earth. We didn't create it. Now, when MedBeds are released, and they're not yet, you can't book your appointment. They're not available yet. There is no waiting list. And when they are available, there'll be a national phone number to call to book your appointment, and they will be free. I've said this for freaking 3.5...
I don't think we have just aliens on the bingo card anymore. Let's actually take a look. We've had a lot of stuff already on the bingo card. I should be... Flat Earth. The gay agenda. Believes they speak to aliens regularly. She thinks the Alliance includes aliens, so that'll be that. Doesn't understand how cameras work. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. Aliens did it! The Matrix. Weather control. Satanic. Clintons, Bidens, Obamas. Yeah, 62 for the scamming for the MedBed lady. Oops, made that too big. Transphobia / transvestigation. When did 9/11 come up? Oh, you meant 28? Oh, yeah. Chemtrails. Thank you. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists. Hannah mentions Blu-rays for the gift from earlier. Dead celebrities actually alive for the JFK thing earlier. Thank Will Kale. Thank y'all. Dimension beyond our own. Vibes-based conspiracy. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. There have been 14 different Warhammer links. That's kind of incredible. He didn't mention Tartaria. He mentioned resets, but that is... Tartaria is a specific subset of reset ideology. Like, all tacos are food, but not all food is tacos, you know what I mean? Dillis Filler, thanks for 10 months, says, just got here. I think 9/11 came up in 2001. When did controlled opposition? Will Kale, did you get a bingo already? Holy shit, weather control, the Matrix, free space, incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident, and vibes-based conspiracy. Will Kale wins, bingo! At least the first one. We're doing 2 bingo wins today, because we're doing an extra long, so let me write down your name real quick. When did controlled opposition come up? Can you remind me? Let me real quick write down Will Kale's name. Gift sub? Cool, even easier. Let me just get to that. Wait, why is it? One sec. That is the fastest, I think that's the fastest bingo we've ever gotten. That was pretty incredible. We've had some doozies of videos so far today, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Oh, yeah. False flag for Ashley Babbitt. You're right. That's the Ashley Babbitt one. False flag for Ashley Babbitt. On the bingo. That's the wrong button. Hi. It's me, but in the full screen. Have you seen my movies? Bye. False flag. Okay.
2.5 years. However, what you must understand is that MedBeds, the technology, is not from this planet. When they're released, people will want to know, how do they work? Where'd they come from? Yeah, they will. They'll want to know.
I mean, the DVDs. You think these are DVDs? How dare you? These are Blu-ray films and 4Ks. I'll have you know. God damn it. The disrespect. Do these look like DVDs to you? Probably. They're very similar looking.
Scientists and doctors and, you know, people that know stuff. They'll want to know.
You can... Someone said my camera's good because you can read the spines on the Blu-rays. That's... Probably closer to centered now. That's weird. Oh, my desk is crooked. I had the... That's why. Okay. I was like, how did it get that uncentered? My desk is crooked. That's why. Yeah, there's a whole other shelf over here that you normally can't see. Alright, anyway.
What are we going to tell them? Oh yeah, MedBeds are from another world. Oh wait a second, there's other worlds out there? But I thought we're alone. Oh, so how did the technology get here? Yeah, that's right. MedBeds open up an entirely new...
Thanks for hanging out, Miss Colaney's.
...narrative. Entirely new reality. We are not the only ones here. And if we have MedBeds, then we can go to other planets, other realms, other universes. What other technology does the military have that they've been keeping from us?
Electric whoopee cushions.
You see, MedBeds is not just technology to be released to heal people. The release of MedBeds brings out a whole new set of questions, which the government has to answer for.
I do too, Will Kale.
Why do you think they've kept it for so long? Since
for instance, Neil Breen. My Neil Breen movies are on DVD, because he only ever releases them by burning them directly onto disc himself. Thanks, Neil Breen.
1940s. Or 50s. 1950s, I think.
Getting Peter flashbacks. If I found out this was like Peter's cousin, there's a little bit of like a family resemblance.
Why do you think they've kept it? Because then they have to admit we're not alone. They have to admit we can go to other planets and other realms and other universes. Along with that comes free energy. Along with that comes so many different things which the government doesn't want you to know. So MedBeds is not just the fact of, I release it. Releasing MedBeds.
Is she talking about MedBeds like the sci-fi stuff you get go for a nap and you're healed? Yes, I guess I should explain that. This is so... I forget how certain conspiracy things I take for granted because I watch this stuff all the time might be a little vague to people not as familiar with the mythology. This ties into the QAnon beliefs, although it is not... I don't know if it originates with QAnon, but it became very associated with QAnon. Though it isn't necessarily exclusive to it. Yes, it's an idea that either aliens or the government has invented a super device that basically can cure all illnesses, make you young and healthy again, cure chronic illness, cure any disease, grow back limbs, fix brain damage, like anything. Like, think any sci-fi magic device that'll fix any ailment with the body. It's a wish fulfillment thing. It's a little bit of a millennialist cult belief. The idea that this time will come and, like, a new age will be heralded and you'll be healed. But instead of, like, rapture ideology, which is, like, spiritual, and you are spiritually swept away, or I guess your body and spirit are swept away in the rapture, in this case, it's a technological shift. Like, you get a new body, and you're healed and everything, and you're proven right, and all of your worldviews are vindicated, and everyone tells you, we're sorry we didn't believe you. But in this case, it's not supernatural. It's, aliens or sci-fi tech, basically. It's a narrative in which they get to be heroes and see a new world coming before everyone else. They're not wrong. They're not weird. They're ahead of the curve. Amber Pretzel says, basically, think a back to tank from Star Wars. Yeah, basically. I think that's more confusing to a lot of people. Like, if you're into Star Wars, you probably know what a back to tank is. I know what a back to tank is. But, like, do enough people know what a back to tank is that I don't then have to explain what a back to tank is?
Opens up a whole nother Pandora's box for the government and the Alliance.
Freyline says these people greatly underestimate the power of capitalism to monetize free things, quote, free energy and MedBeds would be monetized so fast, why wouldn't corporations want that? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Have to be careful in how they do this. So why am I allowed to talk about it? Education. My job...
I'd rather explain Star Trek to people. I'm not a big Star Wars person. I like Star Wars enough. I don't hate it or anything. I like Star Wars. I can talk about it. Much bigger Star Trek gal. I'm big into the Trek. I'm big into the Trek. That said, they did announce today that more Disney Plus shows are getting released on 4K, including Andor, which I've heard is great. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll be picking up Andor. And Moon Knight is coming out on 4K as well.
This is to educate people on the coming...
I don't hate Star Wars.
...technologies.
I just find it... It's not something I run to. Like, I'm not like, I really want to watch Star Wars. It's like, oh, a new Star Wars movie is coming out? Okay, I'll wait to see if it's good and maybe catch it on streaming, you know?
And to help those involved prepare for what is to come. In other words,
I played Star Trek Online. Yes, I really like Star Trek Online.
The healing...
That's actually, I tested, before I picked the name Hannah, I tested the name Hannah on Star Trek Online.
Centers ready to help healing humanity. Getting people prepared consciously for what is to come. If I have received evidence, or had a photo, or even seen them in person here on Earth, then I would have to sign an NDA, which means...
So she's saying she hasn't even seen these things. That's interesting that she's admitting that she's saying she's never seen this. She's just been told. So, no, I like Disney. I don't hate Disney Star Wars any more than, like, other bad Star Wars. In fact, my second favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi, which is the objectively correct opinion. Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, the top 2 Star Wars movies.
I would not be here now, and I would have disappeared for the last 3 years. I would never have started talking about MedBeds. But that's not my role. My role is to educate people. So even
her role is to educate people about things she's been told second or third hand.
I am waiting to see.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing. We're doing an extra long tinfoil today, so I can take some time to be self-indulgent. It's fine. We're only an hour into this bitch. I get the Star Trek universe. I kind of get what's going on there. What the fuck is Star Wars as an extended universe? Because, like, the first Star Wars trilogy, the first movie in and of itself, before it was even really going to be a trilogy, just that first movie, solid movie, but the universe exists basically for Luke's hero's journey to happen, right? The universe exists around Luke so that his story can happen, and I don't think that universe that continued to be expanded upon in, you know, Return of the Jedi, and Empire and stuff, I don't think that universe makes sense or is interesting in a broad sense. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's wrong for other people to like it, I don't find it interesting. I don't know what to say it is other than, like, space western / space samurai film. It's just a lot of desert planets, and I don't like the desert as a setting, so that doesn't help. I did like The Mandalorian.
The MedBeds rolled out to the public. I want proof they're going to be rolled out to the public. I know they're going to be rolled out to the public, but I'd still like that proof, just like you. But if I receive it, then I can no longer do my job, which is to educate. You guys would have no clue if I wasn't here to do my job. And when the beds are finally released, whether you believe me or not, you'll be more educated. Because I find
it so funny because everything she says in these videos is basically MedBeds are a thing. They're coming. Like, how are you educating anyone on what?
my job.
Your job is MedBeds, just like Ken's job is beach. Overthought says, you're saying you don't like the sand. Is it because it's coarse and gets everywhere? I hate sand. It's cold and coarse and gets everywhere. Now let me touch your back, Amidala. This is very normal.
Because I didn't have evidence and proof. Because if I did, I couldn't do my job. I felt it was important to come online.
It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere. I misspoke.
And discuss.
Sand can be cold at night.
This today.
Like the time when Anakin murdered all the sand women and children, too.
There are over 20 individuals that have taken my identity, created pages, and are selling the technology, procedures, healing that they can't provide you. All you need to do is follow the IP addresses. All you need to do is ask for a video call.
That's dangerous of her to say in this day and age when people can deep fake and are going to get easier and easier to deep fake people. Okay, let's move on. What's Chris doing?
All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It's 3/1/24. Today's a Friday. I'd like to give you a little think about it Friday. This is going to be a quick one. Okay, so come here. Let's talk about the sun and the moon. Okay, I believe they're reflections of something. I don't. They're.
He's a little quiet. Give me a sec to turn him up. He thinks the sun and the moon are reflections of something.
Not tangible objects. You can't land on them. They're being projected from either the dome or whatever it may be. But I want you to think about something. I want you to think about something.
Fake sun and moon on the bingo card?
About 2 Peter 3:12. I'm just going to use that one. All right. I'm not a very religious person, and I'm not even sure. But it seems like the simplest one to understand.
Yeah, you can't land on the sun.
Because I never understood about...
You and the ship will need SPF 10 trillion to give it a shot. Even then, it's plasma. Even if you could survive. There's nothing to land on.
The fire in the sky that would destroy everything. You know, but I think now I do. Okay. And that's done through
laser fake sky on the bingo card, that's fine.
Laser technology. Or some other technology we don't understand, but we can explain it with is our lasers. Just like somebody from the 1600s couldn't explain, well, actually they might have had it back in the 1600s. Let's go back to 1901.
They did not have lasers in the 1600s.
Couldn't explain what the cars were, that they were automobiles. Okay. Anyway, see? Yeah, I get you.
What do you mean they couldn't explain the first cars were automobiles? I'm confused by that statement. Let's listen again.
Let's go back to 1901. Couldn't explain what the cars were, that they were automobiles.
Couldn't explain what the cars were automobiles. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Anyway, see? Yeah, I get you.
Is he just trying to express that people would be, who did not design cars, would be confused by vehicles? I mean, I don't know how a computer works. I mean, broadly. But, like, I don't know specifically how my computer works, but I know it does. Like, what?
Yeah, get started.
I couldn't build a toaster. I don't know how to make a toaster. That's fine. Is this actually the video where he uses that metaphor? I know he does in one of them.
Okay, so the fire in the sky. I want you to take this magnifying glass.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. And look directly. Don't do that.
Remember, you know, you used to do this when you were a kid. Magnify whatever's up on top into a single point. But if you get that magnifying glass just right, it kind of looks like the sun.
When you get it right, no? What do you mean it looks like the sun? You can tell because of the way it is. Like, what do you mean it looks like the sun?
Which is harmless. That's not going to burn anything, right? No.
Ants would beg to differ.
No. If anything, it'll just create a nice singularity of heat for everybody would enjoy. And I don't think the sun is actually creating all the heat. I think it's somewhere else, but that's another video too. But you can.
I like how in his videos he likes to act like he's very smart and like above the theoretical viewer by being like, but that's for another video. Like he'll act like he has like deep thoughts about things, but the thoughts are just vibes. Like I don't know if he thinks it gives him a mystique or if it gives him an air of authority or like ingenuity. I don't know what it is, but he's like, oh, that's for another day. I've noticed that. It's a trope he brings up. It's language that constantly puts himself above the viewer. It's weird. Finikagami says, it's amazing just how much of these beliefs are just feels-based. MAGA people are like this too. So much of what they believe is based on their egos being hurt or validated. A big part of why they like Trump is Trump tells them how special and smart they are. Meanwhile, they still can't get over Hillary's baskets of deplorables comment, and recently, they're really melting down over Biden calling climate change deniers Neanderthals. Seriously, look how obsessed they are over slights, yeah?
See that, but then when you bring it up higher, it creates a laser.
It's not a laser! Oh no! Okay, we've had this discussion before. Chris seems to be under the impression that a laser is just, like, any light source that has been, like, condensed. That's not what a laser is. A laser is not just, like, a light source that has been, like, with like, oh my god. Your magnifying glass that you are shining light through is never going to be a laser. That's not what a laser is. A laser is a very specific thing. You need a specific mechanism to create a laser beam.
Point. Much smaller than what you would see in the sky. So the scientists will tell you 5 billion years from now, or whatever fucking how long they say, that the sun is going to expand and engulf all the planets.
Not all of them, I think most of them. I think the outer ones are still far enough away that that they wouldn't, like, be encompassed. The Earth is, though. The Earth definitely is.
But the Bible says that it's actually coming from the sky.
Let's see, the Bible or science? Which of these is a study, and which of things is a religious text?
So,
ancient wisdom on the bingo card.
I think the end of each civilization probably, could quite possibly be, is when that sun gets smaller. And that's how it's going to burn everything. It's simple logic with lasers.
Is it simple logic with lasers?
Take a laser with a magnifying glass, put it to a wall, okay?
What is a laser with a laser is all of the wavelengths of light in... Hannah's so frustrated she puts her head in her hands. The specifics are irrelevant. Chris does not understand how any of this works. He doesn't know what lasers are. Chris does not know what lasers are.
And you just enhance the laser to a point where it's almost infinity, and now you're burning everything. These are my thoughts. It's the same thing with the moon. If that was magnified at a certain distance, that's why we're very cool on that side. And if God, he or she, whoever it may be, pinpointed it a little bit closer, it would create cold. So heat and cold. I don't know if you're going to follow me on this one, but hopefully you'll think about it. but that's what I think would be the end of a civilization. The sun's going to get smaller, and that would burn everything.
He thinks the Earth is gonna burn up, and it's a mechanism similar to burning ants under a magnifying glass. Okay.
Just like in a magnifying glass.
Oh, he said it. He literally said that. Okay.
Because it's a reflection. Okay, well, look. Thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
That's it. There he is. Benikigami says, isn't it sad how a beam sword wielded by a space wizard in a science fantasy film seems to have been constructed with a more accurate understanding of lasers than Chris is displaying here? The sun is just made of old camera parts and light rigging hardware. Oh, this one was weird. This is brief. I'll just show you this. I don't even know what he's talking about here, but here's this.
Just proving the static electricity here on Earth. A flat land. There's nothing in here right now. See that?
I'm not comfy with that joke. I'm gonna delete that.
The only way static electricity could exist is on a flat, stationary Earth.
Sorry, there's a fan going in his video that makes it hard, but he said the only way static electricity is real is on a flat, stationary Earth. I do not know why in the world he thinks you need a flat Earth for static electricity to be real, but he does.
Look at that. Ow! I was hit by a pillow. There you go. All right. Proving the Earth is flat.
I'm not sure what that was supposed to illustrate to us. I think his daughter threw a pillow at him. He has a daughter that is quite young. What's next? What's next? Time travel. Let's do the time traveler one.
My name is Isaac Andrew Mars, and I'm a theoretical physicist of unity holodynamics, and I wrote the book Unity Theory. It is the first scientific theory to solve gravity, dark matter, and dark energy, and simply explain the purposes and properties of them, and time and consciousness itself. And when we
Pretty thin book for explaining all that, if I'm being honest. I've seen the, like, typeface size on the Amazon self-published books, which that looks like that is a pretty thin tome to explain all of that, if I'm being honest.
understand how reality works fundamentally, then we can finally get out of fear and into heart and unity consciousness. So the reason I'm here is because I have been so fortunate to meet my brother James Rink and all of our fellow speakers at these conferences that are, shining light on the world, bringing the truth of what's been going on for not only, the past 100 years or so, but for the past few thousands of years.
Isaac Mars is a cool name. That reminds me, I was at the store the other day, and the cashier saw my name on my debit card and was like, "You have such a cool name." I like she didn't seem to like her name, and she was like, "How did you get such a cool name? I hate my name." And it took everything in me not to be like, "I picked it 3 years ago."
we're starting to realize that his history is just his story. So I'm honored to be here. And
incorrect etymology is evidence on the bingo card. It's not what that word means.
to know you, James. Although
I know anyone can legally change their name.
I have no memories awakened yet of myself being in any secret space programs or super soldier programs. I have been in an MK Ultra program. And
MK Ultra on the bingo card.
What happened to me, and I didn't have these memories for most of my life, but what happened to me is this year in January, this synchronicity kept popping up where I kept running into a really amazing body worker from Sedona named Jacob Massey, who does really great work. And I ran into Jacob about 4 times in 48 hours. I'm like, okay.
Synchronicities are coincidences, and conspiracy theorists don't call them coincidences because they don't think coincidences exist, even though, of course, they do. So they just call them synchronicities and assume that if they have what they consider to be synchronicities, inherently it is significant. It is not random, it is of some sort of spiritual, metaphysical significance.
Okay, goddess, I'm going to listen and see where this goes. So I got a session with him, and by the end of the session, he asked me if there was anything that he wanted me to work on, or he wanted to work on. And I told him the atlas, and it just popped into my head, and that is one of the top vertebrae in our spine. And he, as soon as he started to hover his hand over it, all this energy started coming out, and I had these visceral memories.
Penigami says, "Let me guess, bud, you came up with this theory while high and it showed you the truth of the universe. This dude is hippie playing scientist." I don't like that trope. Is unfortunate. When people have done like hallucinogenic drugs and they think it's like given them some like thing about the universe where they think they like discovered some secret metaphysical truth. So frustrating. Don't do drugs if you don't know what drugs are. Seems like a lot of people take drugs and are like, this is magic. No, you aren't allowed to take drugs. You should not be allowed to take drugs. You don't know what drugs are. I have to pee. I'm really sorry, so I'll be right back. While I'm gone, Chair will tell you about what year was this? 1998's Lost in Space with Joey from Friends. He has a bad Iron Man suit in this. Be right back. We did it.
Float to the surface, and I realized that from ages about 2 to 4, every Sunday or every other Sunday or so, when my parents were taking us all to church, they would give me off to the daycare. And whoever was in the day...
This is going to be a quote-unquote unearthed memories thing. Yikes. So for those who don't know, there's a pretty famous period in the 80s and 90s where basically therapists, specific therapists, were inducing false memories into children. Like they literally convinced these children that they had been harmed when there was not actual evidence that that had happened. They convinced these people that they had been in, like, insane satanic ritual abuse things that, like, were not occurring. So that's not good. Now, assuming something similar happened here. Or an actual abuse situation happened, which is now post hoc being flavored with conspiratorial stuff. Because abuse, childhood sexual abuse, is really traumatic, and people come up with all sorts of reasons to make it make more sense. Sorry, I'm trying to talk about this, like, I'm not trying to treat it casually. It's something that I've experienced, and I'm trying to treat it... How do I explain this? As someone with personal experience with this, all I can say is, I can imagine why it would feel more comforting from a conspiratorial point of view to imagine that your abuse was for some sort of satanic ritual than something more realistic, which is someone just is a pedophile and they had urges and then they acted on them and abused you. Like, that's not... Like, neither are good, but one's a big grand narrative and the other is just a fucked up, gross human thing. They're both gross, but one feels more purposeful, if that makes sense. There's something called a proportionality bias, where we assume devastating trauma. Like, it makes more sense for it to have, like, a really big purpose. So your devastating trauma, even though it's devastating regardless of the reason, in your mind, it can make more sense to be as part of a conspiracy than just some fucked up, awful person who did something terrible. You know what I mean?
Daycare was actually part of the dark agenda, and they would take me to a separate room of the building we were in, because we'd often use, like, I don't know, schools and stuff for our church, or they would take me to another
Yes, I'm trying to say that grand conspiracy narratives are more comforting than the banality of evil. Thank you. You said that so much more succinctly than I was able to.
facility, and they would give me... Making a video soon about a vision that I received recently.
Does the stream completely off? Or what? Can anyone hear me? No? Yes? Just audio? Buffering? Reload fixed for you? It's back. It might be muted. Is it muted on Twitch? That happens sometimes. I'll have to restart if it is.
Recently, that's...
Reload fixes it? That's apropos.
I would say a bit more on the darker side, but the whole reason I'm bringing it up is not to bring, fear to people, but to bring awareness. But the first thing that I experienced of the future is on one heroic dose and pattern.
Again, I knew it! It's the goddamn hallucinogenic drugs! It's the fucking hallucinogenic drugs!
Within patterns, there are no coincidences, so it was...
Stream real quick. On YouTube... Mushrooms. He's talking about mushrooms. On YouTube, it'll start on a new link, most likely, so give me 1 sec and I'll restart. Sorry about that. Please leave...